The three main keys that make Bitcoin a good inflation hedge asset are: one, that it's a non-fiat, non-sovereign currency; two, that Bitcoin has an inelastic supply; and three, the transparency of the monetary policy and transactions that happen on the Bitcoin network. To break that down, first, strength, it's a non-fiat currency. That means that it can't be manipulated by any single organization. Whereas with the US government, they can start to print more dollars and add more dollars to the circulating supply through the Fed. No single organization can change the Bitcoin protocol and all of a sudden add a certain amount of Bitcoin into circulation. This is a great hedge against inflation. Now, number two, that inelasticity. Many people wonder, how do you know that there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin that are going to be created? They wonder how the Bitcoin gets distributed. And that all comes down to the way that cryptocurrency mining works. Built into the protocol, you have the cryptocurrency miners that are processing data for the Bitcoin network. Specifically, they're maintaining all of the transactions that are happening on the Bitcoin network. So if you decide to go and send Bitcoin to your friend, that's reflected on the Bitcoin network and among all the cryptocurrency miners. It also means that you know exactly how much Bitcoin is going to be created over time. The protocol says that every 210,000 blocks, you're going to have a reduction in the amount of Bitcoin being paid out. That's called the halving. Right now, there's 6.25 Bitcoin being paid out roughly every 10 minutes, and that is split amongst all the miners globally based on their share of hash power. But roughly every 4 years, that amount gets cut in half. The last halving was in May, so 4 years from then, you're going to have it cut in half to 3.125 Bitcoin being paid out roughly every 10 minutes. This predictability and transparency in monetary policy and the supply of Bitcoin is another huge strength of the network. The way I look at it is that in Bitcoin, you have the most transparent monetary policy that has ever been created. What does this mean for the future? Well, clearly it's a great inflation hedge asset, but in the future, you're going to see a lot more institutions beginning to understand how the Bitcoin protocol works. You're going to see the actual analysis that's happening on these different news organizations become much more sophisticated. It's not just going to be the price of Bitcoin was here last week and now it's here today. I think you're going to look at a lot more fundamentals of the network, where they'll start analyzing hash rate, the mining cycles, looking at the miners that are on the network and how many wallet transactions are happening, new wallets being created, and other types of data points rather than just the price point of Bitcoin. Overall, I think that those of you who decide to get into this industry and get educated on what's going on are going to be positioned very well, because right now I think we're just in the first couple of chapters of this industry. The last Bitcoin is expected to be mined in 2140, and I think that there's going to be a lot of monetary stimulus and a lot of monetary printing happening between now and then. So if you want to continue to stay up to date with my thoughts here and what I'm seeing in the cryptocurrency mining industry, then feel free to subscribe. Thanks again.